Is my Bible. I am what it says I am. I have what it says I have. I can do what it says I can do. Today I will be taught the Word of God. I boldly confess, my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, I will never be the same.
Welcome back to Hollywood Bulletin. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and controversial journeys in modern American faith.
You're not ordinary, you have the blessing.
A story that feels more like a Hollywood production than a traditional church tale. So stay with me until the end because this is about power, faith, money, and the man who turned his father's modest ministry into one of the largest religious empires on earth, Joel Osteen. His life is a mix of hope and criticism, triumphs and scandals, and you're about to hear it all. It all began in Houston, Texas, where Joel Osteen was born in 1963, one of 6 children raised in a home where faith, family, and church were everything. His father, John Osteen, had already broken away from the Southern Baptist tradition after his daughter Lisa was born with severe disabilities. That painful moment pushed him and his wife Dodie into faith healing and charismatic Christianity. And by 1959, they had started Lakewood Church inside a rundown feed store with just 234 seats. By the late 70s, that little space had become a church of over 5,000 members. And while Joel's siblings preached and served on stage, Joel stayed behind the scenes, quietly producing, filming, and editing sermons for television. In 1982, at just 19 years old, Joel dropped out of Oral Roberts University and returned home to launch his father's TV ministry. For 17 years, he never stepped onto the stage. Instead, he worked behind cameras, adjusting lights, choosing his dad's suits, and polishing broadcasts until they looked as professional as Hollywood productions. His father urged him to preach, but Joel always said, "No, you're the preacher. I'll make you look good on TV." Then in January of 1999, everything changed. Joel finally agreed to preach his first sermon, just 6 days before his father suddenly died of a heart attack. That first message Joel ever gave turned out to be the last sermon his father would hear. With no warning, Joel was thrust into leadership over a 6,000-member congregation, inexperienced, untrained, and unprepared. Many doubted him, but within just a few years, the world would know his name. By 2004, weekly attendance had soared past 25,000, and Lakewood Church became the largest in America. Joel didn't grow it by chance. He doubled television airtime, plastered highways with billboards, and made his sermons simple, uplifting, and full of hope. In 2003, he made his boldest move yet, leasing the former Houston Rockets Stadium, a 16,000-seat sports arena, and investing nearly $100 million to transform it into the new Lakewood Church. By the grand opening in 2005, every seat was full, and millions tuned in from around the globe. What had once been a humble church in a feed store was now a global media empire. What made Joel stand out was his message. Unlike old-school preachers, he didn't thunder about sin, hell, or judgment. Instead, he talked about dreams, destiny, believing in yourself, and trusting God's plan. Critics mocked it as cotton candy gospel, sweet but with no substance. Yet his audience didn't care. People wanted encouragement, and he gave it, reaching 92% of American households through television and tens of millions more worldwide. When he released his first book, Your Best Life Now, in 2004, it exploded into a cultural phenomenon, staying on the New York Times bestseller list for almost 4 years and selling over 4 million copies. That success launched more than 15 books, 7 of them bestsellers, and made Joel millions in royalties. Soon, his Night of Hope arena tours filled stadiums around the world with tickets sold for $15 a seat, and everywhere he went, tens of thousands showed up. But with that fame came controversy. His wealth grew to an estimated $50 to $100 million. He moved into a $10.5 million Houston mansion, and his church reported a $90 million annual budget. Yet less than 2% went to charity. Critics accused him of turning ministry into a business, and when Lakewood Church took a $4.4 million government loan during COVID, despite its massive budget, outrage followed, forcing the church to return the money. Even worse, during Hurricane Harvey in 2017, when thousands in Houston were stranded, Lakewood Church initially kept its doors closed, claiming it was flooded, but photos showed otherwise. Social media erupted with the hashtag #OpenLakewoodChurch, and Joel was accused of turning his back on his own city until the church finally opened days later. Still, Joel's influence spread. He sat down with Oprah, appeared on Larry King, and built one of the largest social media followings of any pastor, with over 40 million combined followers. His wife, Victoria, became a best-selling author herself, launching Lakewood's women's ministry, while her children, Jonathan and Alexandra, stepped into music and preaching roles, carrying the Osteen legacy into a new generation. But even as the empire grew, critics argued it was built on prosperity gospel promises that twisted faith into personal gain, teaching people that if they just believed hard enough, they could speak wealth and health into existence, while ignoring the harder truths of the Bible. And then came tragedy. In February 2024, a woman entered Lakewood Church armed with an AR-15, accompanied by her 7-year-old son. She opened fire, was killed by police, but not before her son Samuel was shot in the head, leaving the congregation shattered. Security flaws, gun laws, and mental health failures were exposed, while Joel's message of hope after the tragedy left many asking for deeper answers. Today, Joel Osteen remains one of the most watched and wealthiest pastors in the world. His weekly broadcasts reach more than 10 million people, and Lakewood Church still draws crowds of over 40,000 every week. To his supporters, he is a voice of encouragement in a broken world. To his critics, he is a symbol of how faith can be turned into business. But whether you love him or question him, one thing is clear: Joel Osteen changed the face of American Christianity forever. So if you enjoyed this journey with us and want more untold stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin, press that bell icon so you never miss an update, and join us as we continue to uncover the hidden stories behind fame, power, and legacy.